Hong Kong, a thriving city in Southeast Asia. It is one of the most economically developed cities in the world and plays an undeniably important role in the entire global market. It is a shining gem in the maps of our world. Think again. Hong Kong has nearly 7 million people, overcrowding an area of 1,042 square kilometers. Our relentless usage of electricity has caused it to become one of the greatest contributors to global warming. It is not a situation which we could spare on. One of the greatest environmental problems that Hong Kong faces is the issue of air pollution. Greenhouse gases, which include carbon dioxide, traps solar radiation and lead to rising temperatures all year round. Hong Kong's annual mean temperature has raised over 0.12 degrees Celsius per decade since the 1940s. Although the figure may not look impressive, it is continually rising and accumulates rapidly. Global warming also leads to rising rainfall levels, which may eventually lead to floods. Even the visibility lowers because of this tremendous effect, spoiling the beauty of our sceneries, and especially the Victoria Harbour.
Today we're proud to have Mr. Wagenhofer as our interviewee. How do you do?
Very well, thank you.
What problem does Hong Kong face in the area of environmental pollution?
Environmental pollution. Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is the quality of the air. You don't have to go very many places in Hong Kong, and you don't have to travel very far to realize that the air is frequently very polluted. You can't see very far. It is not pleasant to breathe, and there's just a lot of pollution in the air.
So what are the main causes of these problems?
Main causes, I guess it has to do with the density of population and the density of cars, the way we live, the consume energy. It probably also has to do with our lifestyle, in which we are constantly using polluting forms of energy that mess up our air. It also has to do, I think, with where we live. We are close to the mainland, and some of the pollution comes from the factories in the mainland.
Another environmental problem that Hong Kong currently faces is the problem of water pollution. Sewage waters flow into rivers and seas. With the already high rate of rubbish disposal into our waters, this problem is getting worse all the time. Our next experiment will demonstrate. This experiment is conducted on water samples which we collected in the Shangmun River of Sha Tin, Hong Kong. Our first test involves in testing for the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water. We have a data logger to the left, and this device measures the amounts of dissolved oxygen present in the sample. It contains 3.1 milligrams of dissolved oxygen in every liter of water. Our next test involves in finding the pH value of this water sample. We have another device which measures the pH value of the sample. We can see that the pH of this sample is 8.66.
We can see that the dissolved oxygen is much lower than it should be, almost by a factor of 10. Okay, so that would be a major problem for all living organisms that rely on the amount of oxygen. Many species of fish cannot survive in that such amount of low amount of oxygen, and that would be one major problem. It could have an impact on all the fish and the aquatic life forms that rely on that amount of oxygen. We know, for example, that if you have a fish pond, some species of fish will be there because they rely on low amount of dissolved oxygen, but most fish species, they need more oxygen than that, so that might have an impact.
Many people in Hong Kong are unaware of the effects of this environmental event known as global warming. We need to be aware of both the situation at hand and possible ways for everyone to help in preventing it.
And what can we do as individuals to help?
I think we should live responsibly, and that would include being careful in how we use our resources. We should be more concerned with using public transportation instead of private automobiles. That would produce less pollution, air pollution. And even something as using lights and air conditioning and so on, if we reduce our consumption of those forms of energy, it will reduce the amount of fossil fuels that are needed to generate this electricity and thereby polluting the atmosphere.
Hong Kong is not the worst in the world environmentally, but we are in a very desperate situation. The entire environment is spinning out of control, and there's no way that we, as individuals, can help in this global disaster. Think again. In changing the world, we must all put in efforts. Governments must be responsible for environmental problems, while citizens must also do their parts to each reduce their share of greenhouse gas emissions. All must work for this grand scheme to be put forth, and we should aim to not hesitate, not procrastinate, not to put the blame on others, and be responsible for our world. This world belongs to each and every one of us, and we all have a responsibility to protect it from harm.
Are you filming this?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Claire. I'm mainly in charge of the film editing, and I'm also the interviewer. 有咩講？
Hong Kong, a thriving city in Southeast Asia. It is one of the most economically... 係咪錄緊嘅呢嚿嘢？好。Narrating and writing for this script is really a great experience. It brings one a lot of great insights. Take two 唔該。得。Now excuse me.
Hanif, what are you doing over here? You're still in the Hopper script, and now just get in there.
All right.
Hey, Judy, what are you doing over here? Wasting your time? You know we're nearly upon the deadline, and now just keep on with your editing. As you can see, I'm the most important person in the entire team. Yeah.
But what does the title mean? Gray or green?
I think it's just a contrast. Gray, that's mean pollution. Green, environmental friendly. Protection. Yeah. So to have a contrast as title, I think it will be good and make others think again.